What's going on, everybody? This is Chris Classic dropping a couch vlog. You hear my kids in the back. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Nobody tells you, remember that God loves you, Christ loves you, and I love you as well. I'm praying that you guys have a wonderful day. I wanted to speak about what happened yesterday, the incident that happened yesterday, and I also wanted to talk about big business. Yes, I will upload it shortly. God bless you, Raphael. Hope everything is well. Big business is the next show for C3 Ultimate Wrestling. The next big show. There's actually something that's going on in Dalton where we're doing something for the community. But Big Business will be the next official show to the public. It's going to be back in Dyer, Indiana, Harold's Private Venue. Big Business. It is named after the BIG of the 313 and the C3 Ultimate Wrestling Champion, Joseph Ira Credit. So when you see the logo, you're going to flip out because it's sort of the retro Detroit Pistons logo. Joseph Ira Credit is from Detroit, so you guys know that I do try to make shows after my champions. So what's going on, Hina? Um, Also subscribe to the Taking Home Podcast, this channel where I talk about professional wrestling topics, and I'll put in my matches as Classic Alpha. Make sure you also subscribe to C3 Ultimate Wrestling, me and my wife's professional wrestling company. Yesterday, we just uploaded the final match, which was Joseph Ira Credit versus D'Angelo Steele for the C3 Ultimate Wrestling Championship. So make sure you watch and subscribe. Subscribe to both channels. So, I didn't watch SmackDown last night. Thanks, Hina. I appreciate it. I didn't watch SmackDown last night, but some of my homies was talking about it, so I had to look at some clips. So, they're talking about the triple threat, which was Jade Cargill versus Nia Jax versus Tiffany Stratton. So a lot of people, the consensus is the show was good, the match was good so far until Jade got busted open and she was bleeding. And she was really bleeding bad. I just saw a clip and it was nasty. Like Nia threw her into the stairs, the steel stairs, and she was cut pretty nasty. And I know that she continued the match, but I know it also messed up the pacing. Like she was dripping blood, like blood was literally on the ground. Now, as a wrestler, you're always supposed to protect yourself. Those moves, going into those moves, into steel, into tables, into anything, those things hurt. What's going on, Sosa? Nice meeting you. Those things hurt. Those things hurt. So you always have to try to protect yourself and like accept some of the brunt. So she went face first into it and was cut open. So that was disgusting. Especially off we just saw Jay Uso open himself with the chair and stuff like that. That definitely was like a nasty thing to see. WWE, they usually do a thing where they'll stop a match and the referee put the gloves on and try to either cover up the cut or try to take care of it or try to wipe some of the blood away. But it was definitely nasty. But after that, and then Tiffany gave a double foot drop kick to shotgun drop kick to Jade, and Jade went out to break the pin. Tiffany pinned Nia Jax, and when she pinned Nia Jax, Daphne, I don't know how to say her name, Daphne LaShawn. If I'm saying it wrong, please forgive me. She counted and then she stopped. Nia didn't kick out, and she just stopped. Like that was just it. And then Nia looked up, then kicked out. So most people got turned off after the match from that. They booed it and everything. So we're gonna talk about whose fault was it. Was it somebody's fault? Yes, she stopped the count. Whose fault? I can't sit here and say I know whose fault because I had nothing to do with the match. What I can do is say who was wrong in the situation. Because just because something happens, sometimes reacting wrong is also a problem, right? So I don't know if Jade was supposed to stop it. I don't know. But if she was supposed to, then she is wrong. Now, I do understand that she was cut open and stuff. Maybe they was tending to her wounds and then messed up the match. Maybe she thought she had time. I don't know. These are all assumptions. I don't know. I didn't produce the match. So if that's on Jade, then that's Jade's part in it. If not, then Jade did nothing wrong. Now, obviously, people are going to say it's Jade's fault because people are sick of Jade, and some people just want to hate on somebody. And sometimes it's either Jade or Bianca. But still, on that, Nia. If Nia was supposed to kick out, she didn't kick out. Or she kicked out late. So then that's Nia's fault for doing that. Because if you knew what was supposed to happen, and I hate speaking to you guys like that, but it is what it is, then you're supposed to kick out. The person who was more wrong, who might have not been their fault in how they were put in that situation, was the referee, because the referee stopped the count. Listen, 1, 2, 3. If your shoulders are down, nobody's kicking out, you count to three. There have been a lot of incidents with referees just stopping counts where the wrestler might have been knocked out, the wrestler might not have been aware of what was going on, or the wrestler didn't forgot to kick out. The referee still has to count to three. 1, 2, 3. If the shoulders are down, you can't stop it. You can't try to say, "Oh, the shoulder was up." I understand, because some of these people, they're doing it for job security. But what it does is, for the long haul, it makes stuff bad in a bad stance. You know, it's hard to protect the business when these kind of situations happen. It's like Naya just shoulders was down the whole time, and Naya had time to like look up at the ref and then like put her shoulder up. Like she didn't even have to do that. Tiffany could have just got off of it. As far as the referee, right? You cannot do these kind of things. And like I said, I've seen this in a lot of companies where, referees are humans too, so they mess up. But this was just too egregious. It was just like literally like, and then what makes it worse was that Tiffany just did her moonsault and then won the match after that. So it could have just stayed just like how it was. See, I don't know. I didn't produce it. John Michael had a cell phone. I don't know what you're talking about. But Satu Kadrick. So the match, like I said, I heard the match was good until Jay got cut open. But this is the situation. I don't know what WWE tells the referees. I don't know if they tell them, hey, if something happens, change it or do something like that, or if you don't do what you're supposed to do, or if the right person doesn't win, you're gonna get fired. I would assume that. I'm not saying it. So I don't know what happened, but it does put the referee in a bad light, because we clearly seen this clear as day. It's clear as ice cold water that you want with no ice in it. It's clear as day. Naya's shoulders was down, so there was no reason for her to snap the count. And like I said, I've seen this in other companies, AEW, I've seen it in TNA, I've seen it on independent shows, so where the referee just for some reason stops, like the shoulder isn't up or anything like that. We've seen stuff like, remember, was it was King of the Ring, correct? It was Gunther versus Randy Orton, and what happened was Gunther rolled up Randy, and the referee continued the pin right in front, knowing that Randy's shoulder was up because Gunther was supposed to win. And people got upset real quick, because even the replays were showing that Randy's shoulder was up, so the pin shouldn't have even happened. And Triple H minutes later, oh well, we're going to try to make it up to Randy or whatever. We're going to try to figure it out, but the decision still stands. Like even then, that's still kind of bad. Like it's clear as day that the man's shoulders was up. I've seen people get pinned with their shoulders up. I've seen double pins. I remember like when Jade went against Asuka at the end of Queen of the Ring, and a lot of people was like, well, Jade's shoulders was up as well, or whatever. I mean, down as well. I didn't really see much of it, but I can see from the angle why people would say those kind of things. So I've seen stuff where the referee just stop and like touch the shoulder and stuff and say, hey, are you okay? Or whatever. And it's just like, nah, you have to count to three. Job security. Now, I'm not a referee. I don't think I've ever reffed a match, maybe like practice matches and stuff like that. But I never wrestled for WWE, so maybe they are scared that they are going to get in trouble. But if then, that's shame on WWE for basically compromising the quality of your referees. It's y'all fault if y'all telling people, hey, you're going to get in trouble. Now, this is on the outside looking in. I don't know if it's 100% true or not, but still, I do think this is something that people are going to talk about. Now, WWE doesn't consistently do something like this, I don't watch AEW, so I can't really say much about it, because I do remember when some people got on Aubrey. Is that her name? Aubrey Edwards? Because the female ref in AEW, because she would not do referee stuff. She would play around. She'd have character. She'd avoid stuff. She'd compromise her status as a referee sometimes. And then Bryce, I think that's his name too. Bryce does things like, as soon as Bryce is booked to referee a Young Bucks match, he's not going to do no DQs or anything like that. WWE, for the most part, we know Daphne, we know Jessica, because those are the female referees. and they're, relative. They've been in the game for a while, but people look at that and they know their names. I can't tell you any other referee's name outside of Charles Robinson, Little Nate. And that's because I grew up watching him um, in WWE for so long, and then WCW. I think his name was Nick Patrick or something like that. But I don't think he refs anymore. And Earl Hebner and his brother Dave Hebner, and one of the Hebners have a son, and there's these are guys that don't no longer ref. Look, that happened to John Moxley too. Ray injured Moxley. Yeah, we want great wrestling, right? We require to see great wrestling. Accidents happen, mishaps happen. And this also happens with the referees. So I can't sit here and be like, she deserves to get in trouble or reprimanded or lose her job and stuff like that. Stuff happens. But when that is just very obvious, I think that's what make people like get upset and stuff like that. And hopefully it's just like a learning experience or whatever like that. Hopefully WWE, they brief these referees and let them know, hey, 3 is 3. 3 is 3. If they're not responding, that's on them. You still have to protect the business. And that's like a problem that I'm also having with WWE as well, because they're making so much money and they're compromising the business anyway. So even then, they probably don't care as much as other people do, It's not something I'm going to lose sleep over. It's just an unfortunate situation. So I can't sit here and say who's at fault. Like, how did we lead to this? But what I can say is what was done wrong. Possibly. If somebody was supposed to be somewhere and they didn't do it, they're wrong. Somebody's shoulder was supposed to go up and it didn't, they're wrong. The referee was wrong for not counting that 3. Especially if the person that was already pinning Nia was supposed to win the match anyway. So even then, it would have been an awkward ending, but it's a way more awkward ending now. So what? Do you want an awkward ending or a more awkward ending? Those are things to think about. But I wanted to speak about it. What do you guys think? Did you enjoy the match leading up to that? Whose fault do you think it is? Let me know in the comments. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I got to get this workout in before I get my day going. This is Chris Classic. Let's take it home. A lot of people wanted Nia to win or they wanted Jade to win. Some people just aren't feeling Tiffany. I think that they just should have made Tiffany still be a heel. The bratty, snobbish heel Barbie doll. They should have just kept her that way. This is why I keep saying that sometimes, and I love fans, you don't listen to the fans. Just because they're cheering for her and saying Tiffy time and stuff, that didn't mean that you had to make her a good gal. It just didn't. I think she should have been a villain when she went against Jade at SummerSlam a couple months back. I think they should have just continued to do it. I think the match still would have done great. I think it was too early. I think they just shouldn't have. I think she would have been good if they didn't turn her a good gal. They didn't make her face. If they just kept her being bad and all of that stuff, it would have did more wonders. I promise you it would have. Her matches, they're okay. You know what I'm saying? They're serviceable. So I will say that. But on another note, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Chris Classic. Let's take it home.